Primetime local news, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
The month of April means a couple things here in Canada. Warmer temperatures are seen all across the country, but more importantly, it's time to file your annual tax returns. Our Callum Hawker dives in on how you can easily get through the daunting task.
Tax season can be unsettling for many, but luckily in the border city, there are many ways to get through this time comfortably with the numerous accounting services offered. Ryan Dice, a partner at Leckie and Associates, understands how some may need some guidance.
A lot of people struggle just to get to the start of the tax return. I think that's more than anything, just to get things going, and going through those envelopes that you get your your T4s, your T5s. Sometimes you can see those or other tax slips you may have, and then those another daunting task is going through all your stuff to find your if you donated to a public charity or something like that in town, and trying to find all those charity receipts.
Other expenses can be claimed as well, such as any large medical bills, and if you moved locations or cities due to work and or post-secondary education. Even if your taxes aren't complicated, it's important to know the deadline with the CRA.
A lot of people just want to make sure that they get filed on time. And I typically find, with our client base, a lot of people tend to bring theirs usually after Easter. Now we're starting to see a big influx of tax returns come in, and that's 3 weeks away from the deadline. And
the deadline to file your annual tax return is April 30th, and while this process may seem daunting to a lot of people, the staff at Leckie and Associates can help with any questions you may have and help ease your mind. Callum Hawker, Primetime Local News.
From crispy fries to delicious cheese curds, a Canadian classic is being highlighted at restaurants around the city for a good cause. Ben Loan has the story.
Restaurants around Lloydminster are gearing up for this year's Poutine Week. It is a fundraiser that is run every year by Big Brothers Big Sisters. This special week started in 2018, and Jacqueline Weed understands how important this has been for the association.
Each of those $3 adds up in the end, right? And that money goes to supporting all of our mentoring programs. So from creating those life-changing mentoring relationships to supporting them on their journey.
Wingin' It is one of 10 restaurants participating in this year's event. And new this year are some added contests.
Along the way, we have also added the contest that people can vote for their favorite poutine. And then at the end, we award a certificate and just a congratulations to the restaurant that everyone liked their poutine the most.
So there's 3 poutines here at Wingin' It. We have 2 of them. We have the classic Canadian all regular poutine, and then we have the kamikaze, which is special because of the jalapeno and the in-house kamikaze sauce. So I think we'll go the regular first. So we'll go get a couple fries, get the cheese curds. Cheers. Now we're going for kamikaze. So we gotta get the jalapenos, get a couple jalapenos. Get a good piece of chicken or 2. And apparently this is one of the hottest sauces that they have here, so let's see how it goes. Whew! That's a hot sauce, but if you like the spice, then this is all yours. Wingin' It is one of 10 restaurants across Lloydminster participating in Poutine Week. It runs from April 11th to 18th, and $3 from every poutine sold goes towards Big Brothers Big Sisters. For Primetime Local News, I'm Ben Loan.
Drumming, dancing, and singing are integral to Indigenous culture. In this week's Beyond the Classroom, we see how ES Laird students are learning more about First Nations culture through demonstrations.
ES Laird had the opportunity to listen in on First Nation drumming and singing classes. Where technique and skill with the drum was addressed, a majority of the teachings were on the togetherness of the culture as a whole.
And there's a lot of more than just teaching them about the drum. There's a lot more than just teaching them about a dance, about a powwow. So that's why I'm trying to figure out how I can share one simple thing maybe for them to kind of catch on as they get a little bit older, as I show up a little bit more and a little bit more understanding. And I think that's amazing, you know.
LPSD is eager to continue to teach about the First Nation culture, instilling the students with their core values.
I can think about it properly, and I can have more of so I can connect with it better and talk to others about it and teach and learn more, so we can always be inclusive and include others and have an understanding.
And that's all for this week's edition of Beyond the Classroom.
At Lakeland College, our students go beyond the classroom for immersive, hands-on learning experiences. It's about experiencing the real world.
Calling all local bands in the city who want to compete and showcase their talents. The Sticks Billiards and Lounge is hosting Border Battle of the Bands. Our Leo Cruzat had a chance to talk with the organizer to tell us more.
Joining with us today is Edina Banuel, the organizer for the upcoming event in the Sticks called Border Battle of the Bands. Talking about more details about the event. Edina, thank you so much for joining with us.
Yes, yeah.
So this upcoming event called Border Battle of the Bands, can you tell us a bit more about that?
Yeah, this is the competition of the band, and it's open to the public. So calling all the bands out there, you can sign up. Who knows? You will be the winner of this Battle of the Band. This is the first time here in the border city.
Now, according to the poster, it has a registration. How do people register if they want to be part of the contest?
Yeah, there's 150 registration. They can call the Sticks, which is our venue itself, the Sticks Billiard and Lounge, or you can call Edina at 306-830-1038 for the registration. And we have the price here is around $1,000. We're gonna bring home the prize.
Now, are there any bands that already sign up for this contest?
Yeah, there is. There are already bands that signed. So hopefully we can invite more bands to join.
Are there any specific band numbers that can be part in this event?
Yeah, if we can gather 10 bands or more, then that's great. Right now we have 5 bands who registered in this event. So hopefully more bands will gonna sign up for this.
And since this is called Border Battle of the Bands, I'm assuming that this is open for any bands that with different genres, right?
Yes. This is open to everybody.
Thank you so much, Edina, for giving us a time expressing more details about this Border Battle of the Bands. Hopefully, a lot of band in the city is going to sign up for this event and win that grand prize.
That's right. Yeah. Thank you.
Thomas Wildman joins me now with the weather. And the story for today, Thomas, was the wind.
Yes, despite how great Callum's hair looked, it was a windy day out there. And just, it was a windy day to ruin what would have been a very nice day. Sun was out, it was beautiful besides that, but of course the windy city, Lloydminster, never allows it to be a perfect day out there. And so I believe that's going to continue throughout throughout most of April here. Certainly throughout the next few days, we're going to see those winds be similar. Like I said, though, it was a good day temperature-wise today, 11 degrees as our high, but that low getting down to -3, and probably with the wind, it would have gotten even possibly a little bit cooler earlier in the day when it was at that lower temperatures to maybe -4, -5, and that possibly will be something we'll see this evening. Normals for today, though, we are a little bit better. A high of 9 for the normal and a low of -4 usually. We got 1.8 millimeters of moisture so far this month, and we're possibly going to be seeing a bit more. 19.6 is the average for April, of course, with those April showers. Taking a look at the temperature right now at the Lloydminster Airport, we're at 10 degrees. With wind chill, we're getting down to 6 degrees right now, so that heavy wind definitely hitting us right now. We've got that 25% humidity, but a 33-kilometer northwest wind right now is definitely what is causing those nasty wind chills. Taking a look at the current temperatures across the region right now, Cold Lake is going to be sitting at 10 degrees right now, with Marwayne sitting at 10 degrees as well. Lloydminster at 10, Vermilion at 11, as is Wainwright and Provost and Vegreville, 10 for Edmonton and St. Paul. Bonnyville sitting at 11 degrees, with Lacabiche also at that 11 degree mark. On the Saskatchewan side, down south, Maidstone and Macklin all at about the same temperature as their neighbors there in Wainwright and Provost. Going a little bit further north though, St. Walburg sitting at 8 degrees, a little bit cooler as we get a little bit more east and more north, as Meadow Lake is sitting at 7 degrees, as is Green Lake and Isle of Cross at 7. Pearson a little bit warmer at 9, as is North Battleford. And just taking a look at tonight's forecast, North Battleford sitting at -6 today. It's going to be clear and a little bit colder for that. They got a 13-kilometer wind, so they will be getting down close to probably that -8 mark for them tonight. Taking a look at Cold Lake, they're sitting at -6, and they should stay about there, just a 9-kilometer wind for themselves. Nice and clear out in Cold Lake for tonight. Taking a look now at Lloydminster, they're sitting at, we're going to be sitting at -2 here, mostly cloudy, an 11-kilometer wind, so it will be a little bit better than earlier today, but just a little bit mostly cloudy, and so we'll be a little bit cooler than that, maybe only down to -3 or -4. And now we will take a quick look at our 3-day forecast coming up here. Thursday, it's going to be 14 degrees with a low of 1. Similar on Friday, it'll be a little bit warmer as a high though at 15 degrees with a high of, or a low of +1 as well. 40% chance of a shower in places throughout the day. And then Saturday, it will be breezy in the afternoon, similar to today, I assume, with a 16 degrees and a low of 1 degree. And so those winds will stick around for a lot of the days, as we are going to be mostly cloudy throughout the next 3 days. But it will still be a very nice finish out here to the week and will look fantastic throughout. But that will do it for our first look at the weather forecast. We will have some more news headlines coming up after the break.
I am here today speaking with Jordan Pollard, and she is Lloydminster's own country pop music artist. And Jordan, it's an exciting time for you right now. You have been nominated for 3 SCMA awards.
Yes.
What can you tell me about that? How exciting that must have been for you.
Super exciting. You know, it's very nice to be kind of acknowledged within your industry, and the Saskatchewan country music industry is a great association to be a part of, so I'm very, very fortunate.
What does it mean for you with the awards show being held in Lloydminster this year in front of your hometown crowd?
It's going to be a very special weekend. I have lots of family and friends coming out to support, and it's really nice to get other people in the community to see what the country music industry is like and to get a little taste of what we have to offer here in Saskatchewan.
Where does your inspiration come from as a small Saskatchewan city artist?
I think it comes from, you know, I grew up in a farming family, still live on the family farm, so just that sense of community and humility, I think I've really taken that into account moving into the music industry, going to the big cities and meeting people. I love interacting with all kinds of people, and I think that came from coming from a small town.
Yeah, for sure. I grew up the same way, and I have to say making connections is sort of the big thing. You know, being from a small community, you need everybody around you.
Exactly. Talking to strangers, a lot of people are scared of that. I love making new friends, so I think that came from that as well.
My first week in Lloydminster, the thing that impressed me most was people walking down the street would say hello, which was not what I was used to coming from Winnipeg. I just wanted to ask you a little bit about the concept for the video that you are nominated for. What can you tell me about that?
Yeah, this video actually was, I worked with a local team. Bill Caverly from As Entertainment was a part of the lighting. Jason Whiting did our set design. It was actually filmed in his house, and so it was a very vintage setup. And then Kim Capperell from Nara Studios was the director and videographer for that video. So a local team that I'm sure many people watching today knows of. And I came up with the music video concept of this. It's about going out with your girlfriends and having fun, and I really wanted to make it kind of 70s inspired. We worked with a local boutique here in town, the Scarlet Thread, to pick out the outfits and design the whole look for the video. And it was just kind of a concept of having fun. And yeah, very retro. We have vintage records and stuff in the video and old TVs. It was really cool to be able to put it together.
Now, you've sort of taken the bull by the horns as well with your company. What can you tell me? How are you doing with that?
There's lots of changes that have been happening with my brand and my business. I was just recently signed to a label out of Ontario called Black Boot Records, which is a very game-changing moment as an artist to have a team behind you. I've been working independently since I was 15 or 16 years old in this industry, so it's really nice to be able to have a team that I can work with. And we have Matt Black as the head of that, and my manager is Sarah Scott, who I'm sure many people know from around Lloydminster. So I'm very happy to have them a part of the team.
Excellent. All right, so I guess now that the awards are coming up, what are you doing to get ready for that?
Oh, well, I gotta get my hair colored first and the nails done, but also just interacting with people at the community, letting them know all about it and having them come out to the show. Also, yeah, just kind of letting the community know, come out, support your local Saskatchewan artists. It's gonna be a fun time.
All right. Thanks so much, Jordan. I do appreciate your time today.
Thank you
and I
so
hope
much.
you have a great success at the SCMAs this
Thank
year.
you very much. Hope to see you there.
For sure. Thanks.
Bye.
Furniture set and design supplied by Furniture Gallery, downtown Lloydminster.
Stephanie Dobson is back with us again this week. Stephanie is a lawyer, mediator, and online educator with Hankett Divorce Law and Mediation offices in Lloydminster and Edmonton. And it's time for another episode of Healthy, Thriving Family After Divorce. Stephanie, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Stacey.
Well, today we're on the topic of education for children. And obviously this could be contentious when people are going through separation and divorce and they have to agree on how this is going to work for the kids. So let's talk about decisions that need to be made when the parents are going through this, but they also need to work on figuring out the education plan for their kids. So where do we start with that?
Well, just like we talked about last week, where we talked about parallel parenting plans last week, and this week we're talking about education plans within that parenting plan. So when parents separate, we are tasked with creating that parenting plan, which in essence will describe how parents will co-parent into the future. One of the main topics in any parenting plan is decision-making responsibilities. And there's joint or sole decision-making responsibilities for the children. When we talk about those decisions, one of the decisions happens to be education, and that's one of the major decisions. So let's talk first about how can we make that those education decisions within that parenting plan. So first, my recommendation is to talk about communication between the school and the family. So is there a parent who will be the primary liaison between the school and the family? Or will it be both parents? And how does the school contact the parents? So is there one email address and phone number on file for each parent? Or is there one email address for both parents on file? Schools deal with so many different families every year that the more that they can know ahead, the better. Let's talk about the kind of education decisions that are going to be made. So do those decisions about the child's education, so whether there's a special needs program or there's an excelled program or any other kind of decisions, will that be made by one parent alone or will that be made by both parents together? So the more clarity that you can give to the school as to how those decisions are supposed to be made, the better it can be for your child.
So ideally, Stephanie, how can parents who are separated or divorced support their child's education?
Well, I feel that the most important thing that parents can do is to keep an open line of communication between the parents and the school. The school is there to support your child in their growth, development, and education. And so the more that the school is aware of your situation at home, and some of the stresses that your child or children might be going through outside of school, the more that the school can use those daytime hours within school time to support your child. If the educators, for example, know that there's a lot of conflict in the home, or that the children are trying to get into a new routine. The mom and dad have just separated and we're trying to get into, moving from home to home all the time, then they might understand a little bit better about why your child might be having more difficulty in school at that very time. So, if educators don't know what's happening on the home front about your child, then they have a harder time adapting for your child when they're at school.
So, what type of communication should these parents have with the educators of their children?
Well, at the very root, I always recommend that parents and educators work together as a team for the common goal of supporting your child or children educationally. So it depends as to the situation as to what that will look like for your particular families. There may be some families that have a weekly email or an in-person meeting with various educators within the school system at certain intervals. There won't be a one size fits all for any family, but the most important thing that they can do is to open up that dialogue between the educators and the parents to make sure that you have a customized solution as to make sure your child is coping well.
Now, what if one parent has basically been the liaison the whole time and kind of handled everything, but now a separation or divorce is happening? How do we deal with that?
Well, very often that happens. When there's a one household family, one parent may end up taking the lead with respect to communicating with the school and any issues that arise from the school. But when there is a separation or divorce, quite often the roles of the parents may shift from one parent being less involved to, in fact, both parents being quite involved. So it's really important for the parents, if possible, to have that open discussion as to how will that communication between the parents and the school happen going forward. The last thing that you want to happen is for the school to be confused as to which parent they should be communicating with or whether they should be communicating with a particular parent. So, where possible, the more clarity that you can provide to the school, the better.
All right, Stephanie. Well, thank you so much for joining us once again, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks, Stacey.
Alrighty, so just another quick look at our 7-day forecast here. Over the next 3 days into the weekend here, we're going to be sitting at anywhere between 14 and 16 degrees with a low of 1 degree. That Friday, 40% chance of a shower throughout the day. It'll be in places. And then as we get into next week, we're possibly going to see a very high chance of a shower on Monday, and then a lower chance of a possible snowstorm hitting us on Tuesday. But overall, just a very nice look at the next, at least for the rest of this week.
Well, let's hope they're a little too far out to make an accurate prediction next week there for the snow.
Yes.
That's all we have for you tonight. Thank you for joining us, and have a good evening.